Welcome back to Enigmatica 2 Expert Mode, and today we're featuring such hits as that lava generation I did last episode is far too slow. That's far too slow, I'm sorry. That needs to be a lot faster. So, a lot faster it is. We're going to take out a hardware and upgrade kit, pop that in place, and we could use the other two upgrade kits as well, but the problem with this thing is every time you upgrade it with this auxiliary reception coil, it's going to also consume power. So let's just put that in, and let's see how fast that is now. That looks hardly any different. Okay, but we are pulling in power. Okay, the only problem is, well, let's put all these upgrade kits in, and I'll show you in a second. We can also obviously pull the augment back out again. Let's put both of those in, and that's looking much nicer. Yes, marginally. It's still slow, but it is actually doing much better. And you can see, yep, we've got the power pulling in, but that is going to need an awful lot of RF per tick, I believe. Let's just go and see if it's draining the battery that we've got at the back of the building, because we need to do some other upgrades if that's the case, and maybe I'll have to pull, you know, an augment or two back out again, depending on how that's actually going. So here we can see our energy cell. And that's still charging, so that's not too bad. Yep, that's still charging. So, okay, I can leave them as is. However, I did want to make sure that we had enough, you know, overhead, so I made another manual turbine. Each one of these we add is another 1200 RF per tick. Pretty good. So basically the same output as all of those things upstairs, all of those solar panels for every one of these blocks that we add. So down we go. We can see here, producing 1200 RF per tick and consuming 0.2 millibuckets per second. And now it's pretty much exactly double. So yeah, I like that. Next thing, we're going to be making ME fluid formation planes. Basically taking any fluid that's inside your ME system, dumping it outside your ME system into the overworld or wherever you want it to go. So I've got to order two of them. I'm going to go and put this into the system. It's not terribly a difficult recipe. You can see it's just basically some blue stuff of various kinds, fluix crystals, and formation cores and iron ingots. So yeah, we've already made those kind of things. So that will go ahead. Then I need to go and first of all sleep while it's dark, because I want to go look at Botania stuff today. That's the entire purpose of today's episode, because I want something that just generates mana for me on the fly without me having to worry about it too much. And that generally means I need to go and upgrade. Now let me just go and grab coal. Continually annoying me with that Animania problem with shaders. Yep, let's grab 2 blocks of coal. Outside this pathetic Botania mana setup here, where we just dump stuff out, and it will actually pick stuff up and convert it into mana, but it's terribly awful. And you can do something quite simple to get this to be automated. Basically, you set up a plate right there with a redstone signal, and as soon as something hits it, i.e. these blocks of coal, it transmits a redstone signal. And that means it stops a dropper block of some kind. There's one part of Botania, and that stops it from actually dropping more items. So as long as there's something on that plate, items won't drop, and as soon as these two things absorb what's on the plate, the next item drops down. That works perfectly fine, but we can probably skip that, I think, and just look at, well, if I can find my book for Botania. It's going to be around somewhere. Lexica Botania, is it in the system? Lexica? Yes, it is. We want to find the flower that basically lets us convert lava into mana, and that's advancement made. Yep. So let me just have a look through. I can never remember the name of it, but we'll get it sorted. There we go. It's going to be the Thermalily, of course. I can never remember the name of these things. So Thermalily, I must be losing my memory today. Forgot what the machine downstairs is that I've forgotten again. And Thermalily, yeah, anyway. Back to that. It adds the lava counterpart to the hydrangeas. The hydrangeas, I should say, obviously deal with water. So this is going to absorb lava around it in the same height as it to create mana. So you're going to want to dump that out, and absorbing the lava will produce mana for about 45 seconds. Do remember it is at the same height. That's quite important. I often forget about this when I set them up, and it doesn't work at all. So the flower will produce mana for around 45 seconds, and then it needs a bit of time, around 5 minutes, to cool down before it can absorb more lava. So the important point there is we can get one point that... oh, hang on, there's another mechanic to this thing. Yeah. The important thing here is during the cooldown period, if the flower to absorb any lava, it instead of consumes it, generates no mana and having to wait 5 minutes for it to start over. So if it's got lava next to it and it pulls it again, it's wasted. So you have to basically lay things out so that it won't actually do that. And I think it only absorbs the lava from cardinal directions. If it's here, it'll only absorb from there, here, and here, and here. So you can you basically lay them out. I think usually I've done them before in a line. So if there's one here, we have a lava there, one here, lava there. And I think that works if I remember rightly. But let's get on to actually making them. And we can obviously try them. Semi-automatable flower. Okay. So we're going to need a few things. We're going to need Rune of Fire and Rune of Earth, which I'm not sure if we've made those before. A couple of orange petals and a red petal. And that's in our petal apothecary, of course. So next of all, we need to look at Rune of Fire and Rune of Earth. So fire is going to be fairly normal sort of ingredients. Nothing excessive in here. We just need to get that with our runic altar. And then if we go back one, Rune of Earth, again, quite normal stuff. Nothing excessive there. Yep, so mana powder is about the only thing that's a little odd, and that's just dropping pretty much all kinds of powder into an existing mana pool. So we're just going to get that sorted. Do I already have a runic altar? Runic altar? Is it going to be a terrible recipe? It is going to be a recipe. I thought I've already made one, though. If I've not, then I guess we're going to need another rock crystal and some living rock, a mana pearl, and we're going to need our luminous crafting table again. Fine. So living rock. Yep. Mana pearl. Pearl. I don't have a mana pearl, but I'll just convert an ender pearl. That'll do. And rock. Rock crystal. I've only got 2 of them left. I need to go and look for some more. Or start growing them. Either way will work. And we can get that done with Astral Sorcery. There's my stuff up there, which actually works quite well. It should even work during the day, to be honest. This should be quite an elementary recipe. So there's our recipe. We're going to get a runic altar. We are also going to need another mana spreader, but the mana spreader I'm not too worried about. That should be something we can already make. And this is going to make just fine during the day. Good, good. I like it in our hands. And shouldn't take very long at all. So we look down at our nice terrain area. It's taking a little while to grow in, but we've also got a nice temple over there. We can probably pull some astral power from later, whatever it calls its own astral power. Yep, and you need like focusing lenses and other stuff like that for that, so we won't worry about it. Pyramid, we're going to need a mana spreader. Let's see what that takes. So spreader, mana spreader, and that's going to take illumination powder, glimmering living wood. How much of this do we actually have? Glimmering living wood shouldn't be a problem. A lime petal block shouldn't be a problem if I've got enough lime petals. It's like a pouch that I have them in. I put them in for storage. Pouch. Let's just look for flower. Although we have lime, so only be 6. Let's see if there's any other flower pouches. I've got 2 of the damn things. Let's see what's in them. Yeah, we've got another lime. Okay, and how about this one? We've got even more lime. That's perfectly fine for that. So let's just get 9. 10, that'll do. 1 lime petal block, which should give me another spreader. Okay. And that should then give us everything we need to basically have a craftable runic altar. For that, I'm just going to put it out here for the moment. We can move it later. And then we want a mana spreader that transmits power to it, which should work as is. If not, we can use a linking tool to link to that, and you get this nice pretty little effect on top. Got some shade of transparency going on. Anyway, from that we can basically take stuff out of this mana pool and shove it over there, but of course we're going to need to do that before we can switch these out with the better solution, which would be to use lava. To do that, first of all, I'm just going to basically throw down some coal. I'm going to do that off camera, get everything set up, get some ingredients together, and then we'll craft out the altar stuff basically. Okay, got all the ingredients ready. I think they're all on there. So that is pretty much all the ingredients. It's going to try and pull mana from this, but it's got a pathetic amount in there. So that's where I'm going to have to basically do stuff off camera to actually get this to absorb and pass through this whole system. It is working on it. Oh, you can see it is actually going. It is going. We do need to make sure that to complete, we have a piece of living rock on there. So you just right-click one on. You can throw it on as well. It doesn't really much matter as long as it's in range. And of course, later this is going to become a whole lot faster. And you probably wanted a much better spreader, which will actually move the mana around faster. But for now, that will work perfectly fine. And I can get on with crafting the other things, which is the... basically the rune of fire, but we are also going to need orange petals. So remember, it needs 2 of those and 1 red one. So we have both of those already and quite easily crafted, I must say. Let's make a change. I probably going to need 2 of these, however. So it's a good point to maybe just craft double. Yeah, because we're going to get 2 runes from each of these recipes here. Oh, and that's that looks like it's done. So we just need the wand. Wherever I put the wand. Hopefully it is in here. Yeah, Wand of the Forest. There we go. So that's 2 of those. Where did they go? Here they are. So we've got those going. So 4 ingredients, and we need the 5th ingredient there for the thermal lily. So thermal lily. To make sure you can also create this version, the floating thermal lily, which is kind of nice as well. You can just put it in a block space. It just means adding the thermal lily onto basically a floating thing of some kind. You can craft these with various different bits and pieces, some pasture seeds, some dirt, and some flowers. But thermal lily itself will work as well. And you see, we just need this rune of fire now. So I'm going to need a couple more things. Another mana steel, another mana powder, which I've already got. Some gunpowder, another brick, another wart. And here is my second recipe. That's my another runes. And that should give me enough to basically do everything now. I wonder if you right-click here, does it put 1 at a time? It does. Good. That means it's much easier to get this done. 1, 2, and just the orange, the red. Is that not everything? I could have sworn that was everything for the thermal lily. Oh, it's petal apothecary. Yeah, so you can just shift right click to basically get stuff back off the altar again. And it just does mean I just need a bucket basically, and a water bucket will do perfectly fine. We are going to need some seeds as well though. But then, you know, we have this right here and we have some seeds. So, no big deal there. And we just have to dunk everything into here. So, so 1 red, 2 orange, 1 each of these, and some seeds. Cool. And that's done. Just grab another one and finish that off. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Cool. So we now got 2 thermal lilies. We can put them wherever, but I'm probably going to replace these ender flames with the thermal lilies, but 1 further down. I want this thing in the floor if at all possible. Maybe I'll put them either side of the spreader, something like that. In fact, yeah, let's think about doing that. Yep, we can put 1 there. And 1 here. Hopefully the spreader's going to be able to deal with that just fine. And I need to... Whoops. Give me that back. Okay. Let's put that in the right place. Okay, so then we're going to basically generate our lava near them. I'm going to probably want to put them underneath where these are, so these need to go and be put somewhere else, or I need to put the lava out here. For now, I'm just going to put it out here. I think that will do just fine. Okay, and then we'll have it sort of spread. So for that, we're just going to put down a couple of pieces of smart cable. Okay, and we need to hook this up to our system, so smart cable it is. And then there we got our fluid formation planes we've already made. And that will then let us request lava, I think, and let everything work. Now, we do need to hook that up back to the rest of our system, however, which means me digging a bit of a trench. And it turns out in my case, that's right behind our processors. These are taking up 6 of 8 channels here, which leaves 2 channels, which is pretty much ideal. So I have the ability just to grab this in here. Yeah, we can just connect in there. So 1, 2, let's just move it 1 further out. And 3. There we go. So then we can just run it all the way along here. You can see some daylight further along. That's a continuous line. Good. And let's get that all connected. Okay, that's going to connect there, and then outside we basically need to run a little bit of an extension cable to the other formation plane, get ourselves a bucket, get ourselves some lava, and then we should be able to basically hook everything together outside. And here we are. It's going a little bit dark, but it should be, well, enough light to see by anyway. And let's get that hooked up, this one hooked up. There we go, and everything is connected. So that should all go back to the system in a second. 0 of 8 channels. That should resolve itself. Yeah, there it is. It's just that it takes a little bit of time to synchronize. So let's just get all of that put back the way it was. And now we should be able to, once I hit some lava from inside, be able to basically nominate lava to come out of the system exactly where we want it. So let's just grab some bucket of lava. We've got 160 buckets in there. We've got that many because I turned off the endstone generation. We have endstone. We're going to need a lot of it. A lot. But I wanted to improve the lava generation before I did that. I've got a couple of stacks. That's going to need to be more. But for now, because I can build up an awful lot of lava in the system, I'm going to run that first. Mainly the other reason is it uses up all of my glowstone, and I need the glowstone for other things right now, including some of the things we've made today, like the fluid formation planes. So that's got everything we need, and this should now be enough for me to configure. So fluid formation plane. Let's see if this actually just works. Lava, please. Drum roll eventually. You'd expect that to work. It says device online. And I have lava in the system. So yeah, I may have to debug that, but for the moment, let's just nominate lava in this one as well. And, well, that isn't working yet. That should be. So I need to check something. So let's just try raising the priority on them. Maybe that will actually work if I just set these to plus 1,000. Will you actually do that? It may. I'm just wondering if that will only work when new lava enters the system rather than exporting. Is there a separate plane? Let's just look at the planes that are available. Annihilation plane, fluid annihilation plane, fluid formation, ME formation plane, identity annihilation plane. So, yep, there is only that one basically there. And that's definitely not triggering, is it? No. Okay. Ideas? One more thing I want to try before moving to something else, and that would be just trying an acceleration card and see if that actually has any effect. In fact, what cards are supported by this thing does not tell me, and I can't shift like that in. So yeah, I don't know. So yeah, that's not going to work. Fine, let's not be defeated by this. The fact I've got a smart cable out here is more than good enough for me, because we should be able to export the fluid if we can't just form it directly. So let's just put it, where should we put this? Is that going to drop something down there? No. I'm going to want it to appear here, aren't I? So I need some kind of fluid placer. That's for certain. And then from the fluid, well, let's just export into a tank first of all. So let's just drop this down a couple more. I'll go and collect that later. So we just want an export bus, fluid export bus. And yep, I'm just going to drop down here for a second. And can I configure this to be lava? Well, first of all, I'm just going to try just to make sure this won't export into midair if I just configure it. It will not. Good. How about if I put a tank on top? Will you now export? Okay. This isn't looking good, is it? Export bus. That will export. Oh, no, there it goes. Yeah, that's going to work perfectly. Fine. So we can get a sort of roundabout solution. If anyone knows the solution to the formation plane issue, I have found on Google basically some people saying when AE2 stuff is installed, this issue happens. Not sure if that's actually the fault of AE2 stuff or not, but we do have lava local now. So now we just need to look at what our fluid placing options are outside of AE2, unfortunately. Okay, so there is the fluid placer from Cyclic. Why don't we give that a go? That just needs a couple of things. We're going to need basically a couple of furnaces. And let's hope I can actually pipe stuff to this. So that will do. And then some iron. We're going to want 8 iron ingots. So let's just craft, I don't know, 20 or so. That'll get it going. And that'll get us the fluid placer. There is another option as well, which is slightly more expensive, which is the actually editions version. That needs an auto placer, which needs a basic coil, and we've made that before. And palace crystals, again, we've made those before. But since this is cheaper, then why don't we just go and see if this will actually work? We do need a bucket as well. Do I not have another bucket? Well, we'll just tell the system to craft one, maybe. I have a lava bucket in the system, but hey, let's just craft one of these. And we should be good to go whenever that actually delivers this. In fact, can I just take one of these and dump the fluid? I can. That's nice. I like the idea there. And we can just drop it in back into the recipe. Good. Fluid placer. All right. At the end of another day, even though I've just been doing a few things. Let's see if this will actually place stuff exactly where we want it. So we want it to be placing upwards like that. Okay, and then we want to basically pipe into that. So I've got to be a bit careful about doing that. So let me make sure, first of all, that these are blocked off. And I can get underneath here without terrifying lava scalding molten rock dropping onto me. Let's just drop down one more. Okay, because we're going to basically use Ender IO pressurized fluid conduit there. And we will just basically head back here. And just head into here. Good. Is that everything? Yeah, that's probably going to be everything. Oh, am I short? I am short. Ugh. I'll get the system to craft some more. 1 second. And there we go again. We've got everything out. Don't want to knock that block out. We've got enough fluid conduit. And I'll just drop down here just to configure this. And get everything ready. So there we go. 1, 2. And now I should be able to configure this to basically export always. And that's going to insert always. Oops. Didn't want that. Are you fluid, lava, redstone off? Redstone? Redstone off. Okay, fluid placer is not placing fluid. But there is lava in there, so it should be placing. Unless it needs a redstone signal. Okay, let me just configure the other side first and make sure that everything should be receiving. Yep, that is also receiving, so everything should be good to go once we get these to actually place something. So let's try a lever. That looks about right. Yep. Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Okay. So the point here, is that these are not, even though they only will pull at the same level, they're not very protected, are they? They need to have a lot more protection. So to do that, we're going to need to do a couple of things. Let me just get this this lava cleaned up first of all. We're going to need to convert them across into the floating version. They are going to be perfectly fine to resist the lava flowing at the same level as themselves. So we need to get that done. And thankfully, I've got another one to try this with. So Thermalily. Remember we had these things. We need to get the floating glimmering flower. So that's just any flower and a couple of glowstone. And pasture seed, which is just some tall grass in a mana pool. And then some dirt. Okay, so we just need some shears, other bits and pieces, and let's craft a floating version of a Thermalily, and hopefully it will actually not get consumed by lava this time. Okay, got some tall grass chopped off with some shears, so we can then convert this over, hopefully. Yep, 1 pasture seed, that will do. We're going to need that Thermalily. I want that back. I'm going to have to obviously make another one, but I'll do that after the episode's done. And let's go and craft this into a pasture seed version, which should be a little bit more resistant. So, pasture seed. I think I've already made one. Okay. With the mana, we just dropped it in. We need some dirt, which is there. And then the glimmering flower or something. I made a black version. And there we go, floating black flower. And we should be able to combine that with the Thermalily to make the floating Thermalily. Okay, let's try this again. And we can try it without the export, I guess. But well, yeah, let's try it with the lever. Now, what we can do with the lever is, instead of having the lever itself, we can create a timer circuit that exports it exactly on the kind of time period that these things absorb with. I've done that in the past. It works very well. Or indeed, no, in fact, we do need to do that, because if this gets another Like if we just put a redstone clock though that's just constantly generating lava, it's going to be wasted. This thing needs to only have lava every so often. So let's try it again. Where's my lever gone? Well, clearly that's been raised. Okay. And that's interesting. It hasn't absorbed this. Maybe this has placed more than one. Or indeed, maybe it only disappears once it's finished generating, which would be good. Well, let's leave that alone. And you can see now that we pretty much... we want to put a glass cover over this, obviously. But now we just need to basically control the time. And it did say in the book something like 45 seconds plus 5 minutes or something. Let's just go back one. No. In fact, this is not the articles I want. Nope, thermally. Here we go. Previous page. Cooldown period, yes. So it has to wait for 45 seconds plus 5 minutes. So we need to wait basically 345 seconds. Is that right? Yes, I'm guessing. Top of my head. So we need a timer. Okay. And that timer, we can probably get this done. Well, it's the same one we got downstairs. Oh, God. I'm missing a bunch of stuff. How about some copper plate, please? Copper plate, can you get that done? So 3 of you. That will get done that way. And once that gets done, we can then create the rest. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Hopefully. Yeah, there we go. Copper plate, machine base, and from there, a timer. That leaves a few things. We just need a clock, which is just some gold. And we want some redstone torches. I think the system can already craft redstone torches because I've got it for something else. Redstone, not that they're hard to craft, of course. They're trivial, but that's fine. So that should let us get, oh, not block, clock. There we go. We can't use one of these. This just creates constant redstone pulses. It's not going to work. 1 clock. And then 1 timer. Come on, timer. Now we can use a lever in combination with a timer to shut it down. So that's useful for having sometimes. We're also going to want some redstone conduit, I think. Some redstone conduits. Do we have any conduit for redstone conduits? We should have, but I'm not sure if I've actually created any. Maybe not. Alloy smelter, silicon and redstone. We should be able to actually do that. Shouldn't be a problem. So either we'll create that or we'll just use old-fashioned redstone either way. But we can go and configure that outdoors. So now I'm just going to put this timer block down for a second. And I'm going to see if I can create this. We should be able to configure this. So delay, 20 ticks. It's in ticks. All right, so what did I say? 345? So I need 3,450 times 2. 6,900? I'm guessing. Okay, 6,900. And then pause while redstone is active means that I can shut it down with basically a lever. And that will do. So let's just get that for a second. We can use 1 timer to control both or many of these fluid places, assuming we have a redstone conduit, which I need to actually place. Oh, and that has actually absorbed stuff. You can see there's this smoke sort of effect, and that's what happens when it's in the cooldown period. But we don't want to have to observe a smoke effect or anything like that. We'll just have it controlled by a timer. So I need to put this down, and before I do, I perhaps may want to get some of that redstone conduit. So give me a minute. So here I have our timer set to 6,900. Pause while redstone is active. So this lever is here. This is basically a shut-off lever, so everything's nice and safe. And then we can just use the redstone conduit to basically connect up. There we go. And this plate needs to be, well, I can just set this to input and output and it should just all work because it doesn't really much matter beyond that point. So that should be set to configure everything to trigger. So let's get a few things. One, let's just put down these and I'll fill in the rest later. So if I basically undo this, it should issue a tick in however long that actually is configured for. So I'm going to just change that. Just to get it to, trigger a lot more often. Yes, that'll cause cooldown. So let's just do 20. Okay, you see it's already happened. Okay, so let's set it back to 6,900. Okay, and I don't need to do anything else. So that is going to work. And then I can just get this lava back while while stuff is there we go. That is wasting one bucket of lava, but I don't care that much. So this will actually work. It just obviously needs another flower here, and we need to basically protect against that happening, which would be nice. And we can just put blocks down to actually stop that from happening. For the moment, I'm going to maybe disable this one on this side because I don't have another flower for it. So let's just put down some sandy dirt or something, and that shouldn't be able to then push anything in there, I don't think. I'm just going to drop, in fact, I'm just going to turn off this one manually. It's not extract that we need anyway, it's just insert, unless this already has some lava in there. It does have one bucket of lava, not that it should matter. So that is now configured and entirely automatic. 6900 ticks from now, because that one I think may have been wasted. 6900 ticks from now, this should actually should work, and we should get pretty much automatic mana generation from lava, which we're getting from power, which we're automatically making using basically ethanol. Is it ethanol? Was it ethanol? Biofuel, anyway. Yeah, ethylene, sorry, not ethanol. From biofuel. So yeah, everything is nicely generating us mana from nothing. And that, unfortunately, is it for today's episode. We've got automatic Botania mana generation without me having to worry about anything, and indeed without me having to throw coal out here anymore. So you can all go away. Thank you very much, and we will basically be continuing next episode using that mana to make other things. In particular, we're going to be heading still towards making Ender.io stuff, and we need to unlock Ender.io, and it needs a lot of other stuff, things from Botania. In particular, I wanted to make some mana diamonds, and I was just running out of mana, and it was just really annoying me. So now we should have... I've still not got enough mana diamonds. I need like 16 of them, and we basically need to make a few things like malachite and mana diamonds and other things, basically for diamantine. But that's just an episode to get other stuff out of the way. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, give it a thumbs up down below. Feel free to subscribe, click on the bell for notifications, and we will see you next episode for some more Enigmatica 2 Expert Mode. As always, guys, thanks for watching.